Okay, here we are, 21st of March. Isn't that amazing? We're almost a quarter of the way through the year. And it seems like only a few days away we got started in the new year. It's astounding. Stuff happening all over the place. Lots of news tonight, little bits and pieces of stuff happening everywhere. Let's get amongst this. Everyone goes forward together. Don't forget it. Count on it. We mean it. Dave, just in case you don't see the message I sent you, can you email me your phone number, please, so I can give you a call tomorrow? Okay, welcome everybody. We hope everyone's here and been having a good day. Now then, Malcolm Langford, I know that he's somewhat of a clandestine sort of a Queenslander because he lives near that enclave of Queensland called the Barossa Valley. But, you know, he keeps thinking it's the best wine region in Australia, and it's only like that because it's an enclave of Queensland. Ordinarily, we don't count it as part of South Australia, but we let it slide every now and then, so they think they know what they're doing down there. Yeah, thanks, Malcolm. Oh, dear, it's great. You know, we don't have to be serious all the time, even when we're talking about serious things. Great to see everybody here. Okay, let's get a little bit amongst this. Here's our intro video, and we'll be making more and more changes to this as the months go by, because we're more and more focused on the blockchain. there you go. Quick intro. We've had some people comment in the last week or so that gave them enough idea of what we were doing to join the Telegram group and get started. So that's very cool. Just remember, this is our opinion only. We're not expressing anything other than our view as affiliates of a number of companies. We don't represent these companies that we affiliate with, and we do not, absolutely do not give financial advice. We really think you need to take the information we give you and go and do some research. We try very hard to make sure that we give you current, up-to-date information, as you'll see by what we're tabling tonight. So our thoughts and prayers and well wishes go to everyone in the Ukraine. There were some very disturbing images on the TV tonight about the Russian invasion of the Ukraine and what they're doing to the civilians there. It's abysmal. We hope this war comes to an end very soon and that those people responsible are held to account. It's just a criminal invasion of another sovereign country. Okay, how do you keep up? Lots of news coming out now pretty much every couple of days. So this link, which is a link to the Telegram channel, will be in the description of the video on the YouTube channel. So if you want to type it in, you can pause this video and type it in yourself into Telegram. We get bits and pieces of updates direct from Europe that I just post in there rather than waiting until the next Monday night. So it's in there regularly. Make sure if you can that you keep up with it, because what's coming down the road at us in the blockchain world is amazing. So let's have a look at some news and about how it's going to affect us going forward in the little cosmopolitan place called Australia. Saudi Arabia is considering ditching the US dollar for oil sold to China. Now, since the Bretton Woods Agreement at the end of World War II, the US dollar has been the basic reserve currency for world trade. And that's been stable. And up until just recently, it's been relatively good. But the US dollar is under a lot of pressure at the moment. And when you take into account that the tool used by the United States and NATO in the current Russian situation was to restrict access to the US dollar for trade payments. So Russia has been locked out of the SWIFT system, which allows for international settlements. And that's all in US dollars. Now, what do you think is going to happen when the Russians and the Chinese realize they're locked out of the current settlement system that's used internationally? Do you think they might be working on their own system? What a surprise. Because no US dollar for oil means no US dollar as a reserve currency. That is not good. And that's not because I'm a fan of the US dollar being all powerful. It's just going to upset the apple cart that everyone's built their international trade systems on in recent years. And by recent years, I mean pretty much since about 1945. That's a goodly amount of time, a little bit longer than I've been around, although, you know, there are some people on the call whose name sounds a lot like Cassie, who may possibly have been around then. I'll have to check with her. I'm not sure if she was, but she'll be able to give us an actual rundown on how that agreement was signed, I'm sure. That's a joke, by the way, people. Anyway, hey, it's a bad thing, the US dollar being unstable. Not because I'm a fan of it, it's just destabilizing in the current situation. Now then, don't even start that, Cassandra. Thoughts about inflation. Now listen, here is something that we need to take into account. Now this is the inflation calculator from the Australian government website. there is a website you can go to, and I just Googled it because I keep forgetting where it is, and it comes up and lets you put in some numbers, and it'll tell you what the inflation rate was. So I've put in $100 value in year 2001. What would it cost in 2021? That's a 60% increase. Now, turn that around to get an understanding of the currency. That means the Australian dollar lost 60% of its value in the last 20 years. I'm not making this up. And you know, if this is an Australian government website, that number is not real. I guarantee you it is absolutely on the shady side of being real, because we're going to talk about some things that aren't in those numbers. How do you feel about losing 60% of your money every 20 years? Now, that means if you put money on a term deposit for 10 years, you better have got a lot more than 30% return. Otherwise, you're not even breaking even. That's scary. What about fuel? Well, remember, I'll just go back to that. It reckons that 60% over 20 years is a 2.4% average inflation rate. Okay, remember that, 2.4. Fuel has risen 50% in the last 6 months. 50%. Now, do you think that somewhere along the line, that 2.4% a year may be a little bit manipulated? How is it supposed to be last year that the inflation rate was 2.9%? If that's what fuel's done in the last 6 months. Now, I'm going to put an image up here on this slide that should freak people out. When I first saw it, I thought, there is no way that that's true. It's not possible. Then I went away and did some research to find out that, yes, the numbers are in fact real. So here's a process you can do yourself. In 2008, oil went to $180 a barrel, and we were paying $1.42 at the servo per litre, and we thought our throats were cut. This week, oil was at $125 a barrel, and we're paying $2.22. Somebody is not playing with a full deck. Somewhere along the line, they've got some cards up their sleeve, because those two things don't add up. And I challenge you, go and have a look yourself. $180 a barrel it went to in 2008, and we were paying $1.42 a litre. Right now, oil's come back to about $109 a barrel, but it was $125 just a couple of days ago, and we're paying $2.20, $2.22. It's just a ridiculous amount of money per litre. How do you think that's possible? Do you think a war between Russia and the Ukraine has caused that price fluctuation? I don't think so. Someone's not telling us the whole story. Seems legit to me. Not. Somebody is stacking the deck, and you can guarantee that the politicians aren't worried about it because they've got a card that pays for their fuel, unlike you and I, who are paying for our own fuel. So what now? To prevent any sort of major meltdown disaster in your personal financial world, you need a way to privately hold assets. Now, this is going to become more and more important as time goes on, as you start to see governments implementing the central bank digital currencies that we've been talking about for a while, and they are in fact coming, guarantee you. There is no way around it. So you're going to be at their mercy if that's the only option you've got to pay for something. You need to have some spendable assets. Have a guess what gold is. Have a guess what silver is. Every Tomahawk missile, every one of those major missiles that flies around in the Eastern European area around the Ukraine and Russia has got 15 kilos of silver in it. And it gets vaporized when the thing detonates. You need to know how to protect your assets. You need to actually take some steps to do that. And you need to have a way to create a side income. If you have an existing income, you need to develop some, in America, they call it a side hustle. In the coming weeks, the white paper will be published to detail the AU4U and AG4U tokens. Now, the reason there is a delay in doing that is that we need to be really careful that these tokens are issued in a legal jurisdiction that is specifically built to handle cryptocurrency type businesses. At the moment, we've narrowed it down to 2. We're now waiting for a proposal from the second one. We've got all the information from the first one, and we'll make a decision at that point when we've got all the facts on the table. But it is really important that we do not want to go down the road that's occurred with Ripple in the US, where they got their coins out in the market and did all sorts of work, exercised the business, got things underway, and 5 years down the road, along comes a retiring chairman of the SEC and says, nah, today I don't like you, so we're going to take legal action. There needs to be no grey areas, and we're working very hard to ascertain the best way to do that. So let's have a look at the roadmap, and we are going to clarify this tonight because we've had a number of questions about what the impacts will be. So we've always talked about gold and silver, physical metal, bullion, stored in Vegas in a private vault. And you can then get your own secure area, or you can store it in the company one, and we cover the storage and insurance costs for you. Had to upgrade our vault today, not today, a couple of days ago. We have too much stuff in the drawer, so we've had to give it an upgrade. Now, from that place, you can turn that metal directly into cash, and you can then send it wherever you want. But soon you're going to be able to swap your metal into a digital token, and the asset behind that token will be stored in Singapore. It's the largest vault storage area in the Asia Pacific region, and they call it a custodial vault. So the business is set up specifically to do that. They've been around a long time. There are people in our business that have private contracts with them already. But we're going to clarify this in a moment. They're 2 separate systems. The bullion in Brisbane does not have to move to Singapore. You do not get forced into one or the other. You can still buy real bullion and keep it here in Vegas. Let me show you why. Because the digital stuff you can put on your phone, convert it to cash, put it on a debit card and spend it. And that debit card is going to have a blockchain address that you can put cash in and spend it. Just been launched in Europe. So that's well underway. But let's split these 2 systems out now. The bullion in Brisbane always stays here, and you can always convert it into cash. It's not difficult, but you pay a fee. When you buy bullion, you pay spot plus. When you sell bullion, you sell it at spot minus. There's always a margin. All you need to understand is that you can transition it and put it into a debit card and spend it. But that only will work for us officially here in Australia. And here's why. It costs us about 5,000 US dollars to send 5 grams of gold bullion to London. Do that maths. Does not add up. The freight is a problem because this little truck can't drive to London. You've got to put it in several other types of transport. And the issue is the second that you write bullion on the courier documents, it's a liability. Lots of people can see that. So you've got to have a trusted courier. And if you had a truck just like that, you could have 5 or 6 blokes in the back with axe handles that might be a little bit better than nothing at all in the back of a ute. So yes, we're being a bit silly about this, but we can really economically only ship bullion around Australia. Hence, if we want to talk to the world, we need a digital solution. Now, that digital solution will have its assets stored in Singapore because it already has an international footprint. 2 separate systems, remember. You can have either or. You can take your digital tokens, put them on your phone wallet, and turn it into cash yourself. There is no third party. You can then put it onto a debit card and spend it as cash. The same as what you can do with the cash you have in your blockchain account. You can put that onto your debit card. Now, these will still be AU4U systems, but separate. You're not going to be forced to move your bullion to Singapore. You're not going to be forced to cash in your digital tokens in Brisbane. The purpose of having a digital token is to give us access to the rest of the planet. Is it spendable? You bet it is. It's a decentralized wallet and it's in a private secure system. This is all based on coins and blockchains, all of it. Nothing that we're doing here is under the control of banks. So we're creating a process where you can use this wallet and the web interface to pay bills, buy gift cards from Easy Shopping Cards, buy oil from Loveday Vehicle Lubricants, get silver and gold bullion from AU4U, buy all sorts of hubs, cryptocurrency operations, whatever you want through Safir and zeniq. You can do it all with that wallet. And that's what we've been working towards. We wanted to have a single, sensible process. We don't want to be able to tell you that, yes, there's a way to do it and it's 57 steps. This is one step. Download the wallet, put it on your phone. So we are bringing this to you so you can take control of your own finances. That's what this is all about. You'll see some coins there in the screenshot. I've been playing with that in the last week. This afternoon, I linked my phone app to my Safir online wallet. I couldn't work out what to do after that, so I shall be consulting with Herr Boris, excuse me, in Croatia tonight, so that we can work out what I've actually done, given that I was blundering. If you use the Safir wallet, it is completely confidential. Now, there is a KYC process just implemented in the Safir system. It's only really relevant if you live in the EU and you want to use the SEPA bank transfer system. Now, it's a system they use in the EU. It is instant transfers. It's a great idea, great process. My friends in Austria laugh at me when I talk about us doing a bank transfer and it can take 4 or 5 days. Theirs happens instantly. Now, ours is a lot better, but unless you're in the European Union, there's not a whole lot of point in you doing the KYC docs that are in the Safir website. On top of that, it's very rudimentary. It could be anyone doing it. Anyway, digitalisation, the blockchain technology and tokenization of everything that we're seeing in our world right now is where this is all going. We are tokenizing assets. So we're taking physical assets like a 1 kilo bar of gold, a 1 kilo bar of silver, and turning it into digital cryptocurrency. And it's not even really a cryptocurrency, it's a tokenized representation of the asset. That will be the new internet, because doing that eliminates a massive amount of paperwork, simplifies the business practices of most businesses in the world, and gives you the ability to maintain ownership of something and check it on your phone. The reason it works is because this is a decentralized exchange on a zeniq blockchain that by definition is decentralized. That's why it works. There is no monkey's armpit in the middle of a centralized system that can turn everything off. Because in a decentralized system, there is nobody in the middle that has the off button. This is all completely decentralized, no off button. Now, on that note, we've been hearing about for a while that the zeniq coin will be available very soon. And it is now officially announced that it's going on a website called La Token. They are instrumental and have been for a while and helping coins when they first come to market. So it looks like it's really going to work out quite well. When you look at the turnover, 236 million USD in 24 hours. Not bad. Long way better than my bank account will cope with at the moment. So they are actually affecting some changes. They are helping some of these new types of businesses get to market. And boy, it'll be good to see it out in the public. Now, just to prove a point, the wallet, the zeniq wallet, is actually on the La Token exchange right now. So you can't see it publicly yet, but it is there if you search for the wallet. So you can send coins to it, I would imagine. I haven't tried to, but it is in fact there. So they're in the process of releasing it. It should be only a matter of a couple of days away because it's already there. And we'll be able to see where and when this might go public. I'm anxious to buy some more coins there if it gets released and they're a reasonable price, if they don't go through the roof before I can afford it. So pay attention to that. There's information about that in the Telegram channel. How fast is this new blockchain? Because here's the issue when you get to using blockchains in business. How many transactions can it do? Now, when Bitcoin was floated, it was very vague and ethereal because no one really knew how it worked. Well, Bitcoin can handle up to 4.6 transactions per second, which is why sometimes you go to move Bitcoin to pay for something, it can take hours for it to settle, literally. A few years ago, there was a transaction that became quite famous that took 24 hours to settle. I've had one take 4.5 hours. Now, that's not really good if you're trying to buy a cup of coffee or a pizza. 4.5 hours, they go a little bit cold. You just got to pay attention to that. So what about Ethereum, the second big brother of the crypto world? 20 transactions per second. Now, Ethereum is going through a massive transition because they're moving from proof of work into proof of stake so that they can get the costs of the gas fees under control. Now, I've stopped using Ethereum for quite some time because you have no control over what the gas fees are going to be. I went to move $31 worth of Ethereum one afternoon and the gas fee was $31. Why would I do it? It was insane. So let's look at the zeniq blockchain. 50,000 transactions per second. That's pretty damn fast. So 50,000 transactions a second will get things to settle in a hurry. There'll be less issues around the settlements into wallets and out of wallets. And the security will be improved because once it's written on the blockchain, it's written, done. This is a very cool blockchain that we're getting access to. And boy, make sure that you understand where you can get information about this because it is going to change our gold and silver business. It's going to change everything that you do on a day-to-day basis. If you have a hub, that's what the screen looks like. Now, why a hub? Well, a hub is the device that runs the zeniq blockchain. It's called a masternode, and you can buy them. They're still available. There is a limited number of them. You can buy any share of it from 100 euros up. A half share is 800 euros. A full one with the tablet is effectively 2,000 euros, a smidge under 2,000 euros. But they mint coins for you. They're minting money every day. I'm amazed when I look in my dashboard and see the coins that are just gradually adding up, clicking away there. They run the blockchain. That's why I bought one. China can have a dummy spit and cut Australia off from the rest of the world with the internet connections. Our blockchain will still work because there's a number of us that have bought these super masternodes and they will run on the blockchain right here in Australia on our intranet, if that's what it becomes. So the blockchain will still function. How secure is it? Well, it's a tablet that's directly linked to the exchange, cheapest and fastest exchange in the world. So you can put currency in there, money, and buy crypto. You can then link that wallet to your phone and spend it wherever you like. Or you can store it on a safe wallet that's on the device that is not connected to the internet. It is not connected to the internet. You will have a 25-word phrase or something like that, whatever the number is that they're using right now, and that gives you access to it. You can log into your own private wallet, move it into the public wallet and spend assets or cash if that's what you need. But you have control of that, not somebody else. So what now? Well, you're in the right place to benefit from the economic mess that we're staring at. And I can tell you, every week I do this. I look around. We're going to talk about some screenshots I've got in a second. It is spooky. These pointers in the economy that we look at are getting worse and worse. It's free to add a wallet. You can download that zeniq wallet from Play Store or whatever the Apple people use. Not iTunes, that's music. Anyway, whatever it is, you can download it on your phone and install it and use it. Coin minting starts at about €100 and up. I personally know people that have purchased multiple hubs. And yes, you look in their back office at the number of coins that they've minted in the last 6 months, it's a big number. They've outlaid some cash, though, to do that. Just stay focused on the package. We're talking about gold, silver, and crypto together. Those are the 3 legs to our tripod. They will give you stability. Gold has a 5,000-year history as a measure of finance or trade or whatever you want to call it. You can use all the technical terms. The bottom line is gold will still be worth money in 5,000 years. Try doing that with an Australian dollar. There'll be a bunch of people on this call that can remember when we changed from sterling to decimal currency. That was an arbitrary swap. We didn't go and buy decimal currency. The government decided that this amount of pounds equaled this amount of dollars, and you went in and did a swap. There was no free market access to it. You just got told how many dollars you could pick up for those pounds. And then they did the same thing in New Zealand. We're not talking about far-flung countries. We're talking about right here in our country. And we've just seen the inflation figures, 60% devaluation of our currency over 20 years. If you've got money in the bank today, you're going backwards at a rate of knots because inflation's up around 8, maybe 9, maybe 12% if you add in all the numbers. And you get, what, 0.5% in the bank? Going backwards. Okay, what if you want some more coins? Well, they will be on the La Token exchange very soon, or you can buy parts of a hub or multiple hubs. So up to you, whatever you want to do. They will mint free coins for you, and they do it they average 1 deposit per day. You can sell them, you can leave them in the wallet and save them up. You can do whatever you like with them. They're your coins. They only have to sit in your wallet for 24 hours before you do something with them. So there's no year-long process, wait for the market to do A, B, C before you get your money for them. You can sell them in 24 hours. It's a really good deal. So why are we here? We are once again reminded we're a group of like-minded people trying to survive the economic turmoil that we see coming down the road at us. And the world is changing, so please pay attention. Please pay attention. If you think back to what's happening in Eastern Europe right now, in the area around the Ukraine, that is exactly the way World War II started. Exactly that. What happens if this becomes World War III? I hope it doesn't. And I hope we're far enough away. If it does, it's not going to bother us too much. But let's at least be a bit sensible and get ourselves set up with some assets. This gentleman, this is Stansberry Research. I was going to say Kitco News, but Daniela was working for Kitco before. Now she's at Stansberry Research. This guy is talking about how badly central bank digital currencies will affect you and your life. And I think it's really well worth sitting through the 24.5 minutes. Mike Maloney, end of the petrodollar. We've talked about that already. What's going to happen? Nobody knows. This has never happened before. We are in history. We are part of and observing history. $3,000 gold and $50 silver prices. Bring it on. I'd like to have a lot more of it, but I'll take it how it is. Jim Rogers, listen to this guy talk about how he beat inflation in the 70s by a lot, 4,200 odd %. And he's talking about the way the world is moving is forcing people into gold and silver and other commodities like that. So gold, silver, platinum, all those sorts of things. Yep, we've been talking about it for a long time. And Mr. George Gammon, the biggest bull market in history, the 2020s commodities super bubble. Yep, commodities, gold, silver, platinum, palladium, zinc. If you're paying any attention at all to the zinc price about a week ago, that was eye-watering to watch the spike in that. And Mr. Manarino, be prepared for record oil shock. And it will affect everything we do because we live here in Australia effectively on the back of a truck. Diesel trucks carry everything we eat and everything we do is delivered by truck. And that's at the moment all dependent on oil. Surprise, surprise. Watch this space and let's see what happens in a couple of weeks. The bottom line, everything we knew as normal is now gone and it is unlikely to come back as it was before. It may come back, but it's going to be a different color. It's going to be in a different container and it's going to be chained to something. Just not going to be like it was before. Everything we've ever talked about is coming true. And this was pointed out to me just a few days ago with a member I was having a cup of coffee with, and he said, you've actually turned out to be quite a prophet because everything you've talked about is coming true. And yep, we think it is. And some of it, I wish it wasn't coming true, but it is. Remember, you don't need to be a salesperson. You can mint coins on your own. You can store your own metal on your own. You do not need to be a salesperson to succeed. Be your own bank. Hold your own spendable assets and protect yourself. That's what we're about, ladies and gentlemen. That's all I've got for you tonight. A lot more stuff coming. Does anybody have any questions they'd like to unmute or ask a question?
Right.
Okay. Yes, Martin, it will be a zeniq wallet. ZENIQ. Good work, Doug and Jenny. I'm figuring that's Jenny. Doug doesn't type that fast. Yep, and it'll be the zeniq logo on it, this one up here on the screen. That's the logo that's on it. Okay, everybody, I think I've got it now. Good, outstanding. Okay, thanks everybody for coming along. Love Monday nights. We get through some stuff, some very exciting things happening in the coming weeks and months, and can't wait to get there and can't wait for us to be shaking hands on the golden beaches of the world. Have a great night.